Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 4th Canto, Chapter 14, Text 2 to 4. Veeramataramahuya Sunitam Brahmavadinaha Prakrtya Sammatam Venam Abhyashinchan Patim Bhuvaha. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. The great sages then called for Queen Mother Sunita, and with her permission, they installed Vena on the throne as the master of the world. All the ministers, however, disagreed with this. Text 3. Shrutva nripasana venam atyugra shasanam Nililyurdasya sadyah sarpatrashta iva kavaha. It was already known that Vena was very severe and cruel. Therefore, as soon as the thieves and rogues in the state heard of his ascendance to the royal throne, they became very much afraid of him. Indeed, they hid themselves here and there, as rats hide themselves from snakes. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. When the government is very weak, rogues and thieves flourish. Similarly, when the government is very strong, all the thieves and rogues disappear and hide themselves. Of course, Vena was not a very good king, but he was known to be cruel and severe. Thus, the state at least became freed from thieves and rogues. Text 4. Sarudha nrupasthana unnaddo asta vibhuti avamene mahabhagan stabdaha sambhavaita swataha. When the king ascended to the throne, he became all-powerful with 8 kinds of opulences. Consequently, he became too proud. By virtue of his false prestige, he considered himself to be greater than anyone. Thus, he began to insult great personalities. Purport. In this verse, the word Ashtavibhutihi, meaning by 8 opulences, is very important. The king is supposed to possess 8 kinds of opulences. By dint of mystic yoga practice, kings generally acquired these 8 opulences. These kings were called Raja Rishis, kings who were also great sages. By practicing mystic yoga, a Raja Rishi could become smaller than the smallest, greater than the greatest, and could get whatever he desired. A Raja Rishi could also create a kingdom, bring everyone under his control, and rule everyone. These were some of the opulences of a king. King Vena, however, was not practiced in yoga, but he became very proud of his royal position nonetheless. Because he was not very considerate, he began to misuse his power and insult great personalities. Evam madhanda utsikto nirankusha iva dvipaha paryatan ratamastaya kampayan ivarodasi. When he became overly blind due to his opulence, King Vena, mounted on a chariot and like an uncontrolled elephant, began to travel through the kingdom, causing the sky and earth to tremble wherever he went. Text 6. Na yastavyam na datavyam na hotavyam dvijahas kvachit iti nyavarayad dharmam beri goshena sarvashaha. All twice-born Brahmanas were forbidden henceforth to perform any sacrifice, and they were also forbidden to give charity or offer clarified butter Thus King Vena sounded kettle drums throughout the countryside. In other words, he stopped all kinds of religious rituals. Purport. What was committed by King Vena many years ago is at present being carried out by the atheistic governments all over the world. The world situation is so tense that at any moment governments may issue declarations to stop religious rituals. Eventually, the world situation will become so degraded that it is impossible for pious men to live on the planet. Therefore, sane people should execute Krishna consciousness very seriously so that they can go back home, back to Godhead, without having to further suffer the miserable conditions predominant in this universe. Text 7. Venasyaveksha munayo durvritasya vicheshtitham vimrishya loka vesanam kripayochuhu smasatrinaha. Therefore, all the great sages assembled together and after observing cruel Vena's atrocities, concluded that a great danger and catastrophe was approaching the people of the world. Thus, out of compassion, they began to talk among themselves, for they themselves were the performers of sacrifices. Purport. Before King Vena was enthroned, all the great sages were very much anxious to see to the welfare of the society. When they saw that King Vena was most irresponsible, cruel, and atrocious, they again began to think of the welfare of the people. It should be understood that sages, saintly persons, and devotees are not unconcerned with people's welfare. Ordinary karmis are busy acquiring money for sense gratification, and ordinary jnanis are socially aloof when they speculate on liberation. But actual devotees and saintly persons are always anxious to see how people can be made happy, both materially and spiritually. Therefore, the great sages began to consult one another on how to get out of the dangerous atmosphere created by King Vena. So, King Vena was installed as the king after his father disappeared from the palace, being unhappy or distressed about having brought into this world a son who was cruel, adharmic. He could not withstand that, so he left the palace, and the kingdom was without a head. So the sages advised Mother Sunita that they install Vena as the king. And it is said here that all the ministers, however, disagreed with this, because they already knew that what was his nature. He was severe and cruel. And it is said here that when he ascended to the throne, all the other smaller thieves and rogues, they all started hiding. However, the king was so proud that he considered himself greater than anybody, which is the very nature of the asuras. And he became blind with his opulences, and he began to travel throughout the kingdom, causing the sky and earth to tremble. And he forcefully stopped all the Vedic rituals. And thus the great sages realized that a great catastrophe was approaching the people of the world, and they were discussing what to do about it. So this is a scenario. Prabhupada explains that the devotees are really concerned about the people's welfare, both in this material world and beyond. Unlike another kind of spiritualists who are jnanis, who simply want their own liberation, whereas the devotees are really interested in the welfare of the entire world. Reason being, they understand, devotees as spiritualists understand that this world is not illusion. This world is a real world with a real purpose, created by absolute real personality of Godhead, Krishna. So, in the Vaishnavism, there is absoluteness to the existence, including material existence. Names, forms, everything may be changing, but these are all absolute energies of the Lord, as absolute as the spiritual world. They do not see this world as illusion, but they see this world having a purpose and a plan in the mind of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the creator of everything, maintainer of everything, annihilator of everything. Everything that goes on, even in the material world, is under the direct control of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So a king is supposed to represent the Supreme King. Who is the Supreme King or the Supreme Emperor, or the Supreme Personality of Godhead? Just like an emperor or a king has so many plans for his kingdom, all his ministers have to cooperate and execute the plan of the king. But when a king in this material world thinks there is nobody above him, as in the case of Vena, then that is the symptom of an asura. In this material world, even Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, there are certain kinds of people who are mudas, foolish, lowest among humans, those whose intelligence is stolen by Maya. Or they are all called dushkritinas. So always in this world there are dushkritinas. As Prabhupada is explaining here, that it is very much, we can see in the present day, this kind of situation has arisen in this world. During Prabhupada's time, he is saying at that time there was Vietnam War and all these things, a lot of things were happening also. There was a Cold War between US and Russia. There was tension between India and Pakistan and China. Now you see situation has even become worse. They are not some temporary aberrations. These are all reactions to that was predicted by Prabhupada. Though we call ourselves civilized, but end of the day, the present population is not civilized. Why? Because people who are engaged in sinful activities. They're called, all these classes of people are called dushkritinas. Kritina means pious acts. Dushkritina means those who do sinful acts. So today the earth is burdened by so much of sinful activities. Sinful activities mean short-circuiting the design of the Lord, the plan of the Lord for the welfare of this world. Like the mass slaughterhouses and so many things which are polished externally as advancement of civilization, it is all rooted in sinful activities. Therefore, it is no surprise that these kinds of situations exist on the earth today. There is absolutely no stability. Continuously the situation, conflicting situations all over the world keeps escalating. We are seeing that. And Prabhupada said that there will be a third world war. Of course, once or twice he said that if Sankirtana spreads, then Sankirtana has a power to even prevent this. But otherwise, a third world war is predicted. Simple logic, that where would all this accumulated sin go and burst? It has to burst as a reaction. It has to come as a reaction. We have a universal perspective of what is going on because of our perspective is from the Guru, Sadhu and Shastras. So the devotees, Vaishnavas, they have a very clear, real picture of the world situation, which no karmis can have. Because there is no perspective. The only perspective the karmis have is enjoy life in this life, enjoy your senses, enjoy the body. That is the only goal. So which is completely self-centered. So they don't have a plan, they don't have a... Even if somebody says, we want to bring peace on earth, they cannot. Because they have to know what is dharma, what is the design of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, how the society should be organized. Yajnas have to be performed. These are all, just like you take a machine. If you don't run it the way it is designed for, it will not produce the results. Similarly, this entire material world, a small part of it is this earth. So in this earth, on this earth, if it is, life does not go as per design of the Supreme Lord. So this is why Prabhupada called this as a Ugra Karma civilization, a civilization running, Pashu civilization, animal civilization, running on 4 wheels. Now, neighboring state itself, we can see so many Venas. What Bhagavatam is describing, we can witness. How they come to power is amazing. That is destiny. They become very powerful. Stop all rituals, all religious functions, everything. You can imagine if such people by votes, they have to get elected, which means what has happened to the population? What has happened to the population? That means the population has degraded so much. So we are living in a very dangerous society, very, very dangerous society. Therefore, Prabhupada is explaining here that better quickly pack up and go back to Godhead. This is bound to happen. I think here he mentions that somewhere. So, imagine if we had not got the shelter of Srila Prabhupada. We will be simply bewildered. We cannot understand anything that is going on in this world. We will not be able to understand what is the purpose of creation. Everybody, the only philosophy one can have is, my senses are demanding, I should enjoy. And everybody is competing with each other. And each one is trying to be more successful than the other in the matter of sense gratification, creating wealth, etc., etc. Even if the world is in such a chaotic situation and the world is becoming a dangerous place, the devotees, their suffering is very much less because of this simple knowledge that this material world is temporary, and in this temporary world, these cycles of good times and bad times eternally keep coming. Another very important thing Prabhupada is saying here, which we have to note. Actually, devotees and saintly persons are always anxious to see how the people can be made happy both materially and spiritually. Because Lord has provided. Of course, in the material world, bottom line, birth, death, old age, disease, we cannot remove. But during the period you live with these limitations, you can make best out of the bad bargain by following the dharmic principles set forth by the Lord. And if there is too much of irreligion, then the Lord incarnates in different ways into this material world. So we can understand the statement of Prabhupada, though he said there will be world war and there will be suffering and there will be cleansing of the population and then the golden age of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will begin. It's all in control of the Supreme Lord. Just like Krishna told Arjuna, I wanted this battle of Kurukshetra. It's my decision. It's a Dharma Yuddha. And it is going to cleanse the kind of numbers of people who died in Kurukshetra. Post that, you can say that a new world began. Similarly, if everything has to be reset, there has to be a very major cleansing. But the Lord has incarnated Kalikale, Namarupe, Krishna Avatara. It all depends a lot on us, His servants. How we are going to be active in spreading the Sankirtana Yajna among the people. Though we as Gaudiya Vaishnavas, we understand the pure Bhagavata Dharma of gunning for pure bhakti, we should understand that as a preaching mission, we're not expecting everybody to be given pure love of Godhead. We want, that's Yuga Dharma. Yuga Dharma means common man's Yuga Dharma. Yuga Dharma will bring material prosperity also in the Yuga. So often, because we are so absorbed in our own path, because of our good fortune, that we are directly connected to a pure devotee, and we are gunning for pure bhakti. There are very few takers of pure bhakti in this material world. But if simply they associate with the Yuga Dharma, with the Yuga Avatara, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, immediately there is material reciprocation for people. That we should not forget. Scriptures say that chanting the holy name is the highest punya automatically. Even though we are not using the holy name for that, but we should understand that there is the Yuga Dharma, there is a Yuga Mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And it will act to relieve the material suffering of the people. Actually, if you see here, the Hare Krishna hill, we have this Harinam Mantap, where devotees, they chant, stand on 108 steps. Before darshan, they chant and they come up. I have been surprised to note, especially after COVID, the number of people we are not doing anything there to make people come through that steps. But average weekdays, 3,000 people are chanting and coming up. Weekends, because we read the score in the morning, 7,500, 8,000. They are chanting 100 and hearing Prabhupada chanting 100 times coming. Why? Because they are coming again and again. They are seeing the effect of holy name in their material life also. So we have to very intelligently preach, give benefit of the holy name to the people, though we may not say that it will, holy name is meant for material, this thing, giving you material relief. Instead of saying that, we have to tell them that materially and spiritually, nothing wrong. Just see here, Our desire is to make everybody materially and spiritually happy. It's not that we don't have a medicine, we don't have, you have to go to some demigod temple, then only your desires will be fulfilled. If you come to Krishna, he will take away everything. Krishna taking away everything is for rarest of the souls. That is pure devotional service. But Krishna has a role in this. Krishna has a mission for everybody. Krishna is a shelter, not only for those who want pure devotional service. Krishna is a shelter for anybody who approaches him in any way, with material desire or without material desire. As preachers, we have to keep this in mind, and we have to come out of our high platforms and make simple, tell people, simply chant every day 15 minutes, whole family sit evening and chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra loudly. And because we want to attentively chant and 16 rounds we chant, we tend to think that, kya hoga 15 minutes mein? No, the holy name is so powerful. Because from their own life, within their own, little self-centered life, they will get the reciprocation of Krishna. And their lives will become relieved of so many sufferings. Because sufferings are created by Papa Karma. And the whole chanting the holy name of the Lord with some reverence, some worship, in the mood of worship, you will accumulate so much punya in them, they become so much rich. And automatically they will be able to counter or burn away the sins, sinful reactions, by uttering the holy name of the Lord. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. That is why it is said, Hare Nama, Eva Kevalam, Kalau Nastyeva Gatiranyata. Why? Because this is materially also highest punya. Forget about delivering us back to Godhead, holy name, delivering us from this material world, giving transcendental knowledge, cleansing our heart, and then planting, giving Krishna prema. That is our personal mission for us. While we are pursuing our personal mission to the highest standard for pure bhakti, we have to look into the welfare of this society. Our welfare of the society is not directly going and trying to do, material miseries, let us do some activities directly to relieve them of their material suffering. That is not what Prabhupada is saying. We work very intelligently to make them materially happy. We have got knowledge from the scriptures how this population, the material world, can be materially happy. So we don't do the work, we don't try to serve the humanity in a foolish way where it is not going to give any result. We are interested in the materially also welfare of the society, and we know that the more and more Harinam spreads, more and more Prasadam spreads, more and more the transcendental knowledge spreads, Prabhupada's books. This is the highest welfare activity, even materially speaking. And we have seen in our own preaching, so many congregations, initially they come with so much a complicated problems in life, very bad situation in life, they take up to chanting, take up to 16 rounds. Gradually you see their whole problems are all gone. Suffering greatly, they come to Krishna consciousness. And we should be surprised. We have seen so many cases like that. We are seeing the materially itself, what is the efficacy of chanting Hare Krishna in one's life. So we know this is a medicine to relieve the suffering of the people, taking shelter of the holy name of the Lord, with the desire, without desire. So the forces on this earth, from the evil forces like King Vena, all can be countered by increasing the Krishna consciousness on this earth. So it's not that, as Prabhupada is saying, some jnanis, you go after your own liberation and you have your own matta, you have your own ashramas, your spiritual organization, that we are not having a global view for the welfare of the society. What little we are doing, let us say in this Bangalore city and Hare Krishna Hill, the morning Sankirtana that goes on here, sense purification and sense transcendental vibration to the whole Bangalore city. Because this sound is the incarnation of the Lord. This is not a material sound. So moment this, see, now nobody is making sound. Suddenly you say Krishna. This is called avatara. Before that sound is vibrating in the air, there is no avatara. Lord is unmanifest everywhere. Everywhere he is there. Avatara means he is manifest in the material element. So we have to make people chant so that we manifest the Lord in our dimension. On Hare Krishna Hill, in Rajaji Nagar, in this particular address, with ordinary ears, with ordinary tongue and material ears, we are able to touch the avatar of the Lord. Thousands of people are coming to this temple. They are also adding. They are not only benefiting themselves by going through the chanting mandap, they are contributing to the welfare of the entire Bangalore city. How do we understand? These things you have to see from the perspective of the scriptures. This is a kripa of the Lord. The whole Krishna consciousness movement is an incarnation to give relief for people in Kali Yuga. So we should understand that the chanting of the holy name has two aspects. One aspect for us, we want to chant purely, attentively, soulfully, to completely cleanse our heart and awaken our Krishna consciousness and go back to Godhead. Meantime, we should also understand the other perspective, that to bring some kind of peace to the, at least to the innocent. There are innocent people in this material world. That is our social service. Our social service is distributing Krishna consciousness to all these people in whichever dosage they can take. That is very important. That's very important. In whatever quantity of dosage they can take. That is intelligent preaching. We are not telling the whole world should become, should surrender and join ISKCON temples. It's not possible. It's not possible. It will not happen also. And it's not required also. Krishna has given the freedom to live in this, people to live in this material world voluntarily. Whenever they want, they get fed up, they can come to me. So material world is the kingdom of Maya. Everything is arranged in that manner to facilitate living entities' independent enjoyment. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So, service to the holy name, we chant for associating with Krishna in his Shabdavatara, so that one day we can awaken our spiritual senses and do Shuddha Nama Japa. At the same time, rest of the day, we are serving the mission of the holy name. Everything that we do is connected to serving the plan of the Supreme Lord, because He is Karuna Sindhu. Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namane Gauratishe Namaha. Iti Shodashakanam Nam Kalikalmasha Nashanam. Holy name is used for, rather, holy name's mission is to Kalikalmasha Nashanam, the negative forces that are working in this material world. So a lot depends on us. Just like I was reading the other quote, even Prabhupada said this Krishna consciousness movement can be finished if we do not seriously take Krishna consciousness. Few of us take seriously Krishna consciousness. In fact, Prabhupada says, not simply devotees, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. He says that. Just going on telling Hari Bol, Hari Bol. No, seriously, few people take up Krishna consciousness. Then one can, even this Krishna, so much depends on us. Even this Krishna consciousness movement can be finished if you don't take it up seriously. Any questions?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Prabhu, we heard that although King Vena was not qualified, he was undeserving to sit in the position of king, but due to destiny, he became king. Like you said, by destiny, sometimes it happens, like cruel king Vena can come. So is it possible, although we know in our society, Prabhupada has made the system, is it possible that due to, although not deserving, somebody can sit in the authority position due to his destiny like that?
Somebody can
be made to sit in the authority position. Yes,
position.
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah, it is all possible. Prabhupada in Bhaktivedanta purports he has written, demons in the dress of Vaishnavas will be there also. Yeah, Kalichelas. So it's all, everything is possible. That way we have to be alert. It all depends on if some devotees are very strong, then they can fight. The Lord expects devotees also who become good devotees, who cleanse their heart, they become attached to the holy name, to become strong leaders, to prevent this kind of forces that come to destroy the Krishna consciousness movement in the dress of a Vaishnava. It has happened to this very same 77 Prabhupada Samadhi. From then onwards, you can see what all has happened, where Kali has entered and created so much loss for the Sankirtan movement of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So what will happen is very complicated, because Krishna has allowed freedom to the living entities here. As you said, destiny, all these things are playing. And the counterforce is only us. We got powerful weapon, holy name. Holy name on its own is not going to act. You have to vibrate and he has to incarnate. Somebody has to become instrument. Somebody has to be spirited to keep the Krishna consciousness movement free from such asuric forces.
Prabhu, is there any difference between, just like you said, Kali Chela, means demons in the rest of Vaishnava, and somebody who does not know that, means somebody who may be innocently unqualified, and he is made to sit in the powerful position. So what is the difference? Like somebody like Vena, he has come to destroy.
No, that they will get gradually purified. Innocent people will get purified. They are sincere. They may be unqualified. But if somebody is abusing power which is given to him, it is not a question of unqualified. It is a misuse. He may be not skillful in using the power that he has got from a position that has been given to him. That is a different matter. And somebody enjoying using that or misusing that power against own Vaishnavas, Vaishnava community, misusing power, as it is said in one of the verses, he started insulting all great personalities, King Vena. So you don't care, you insult all the Vaishnavas using your power. So these all are things that the leadership has to very carefully observe, that no leader misuses or utilizes the power against innocent devotees. That is the reason why our Krishna consciousness movement expanding is very slow. Because to get people to, we are not like multinational companies, have some managerial skills and go on opening any number of branches. Then we will be responsible for some sincere devotees who will work under them, and they don't have proper spiritual foundation. They will think this is a growth of some material organization, and they think, and therefore, they'll be handling Krishna's Lakshmi, Krishna's power in a material way for their own self-aggrandizement. We have to be extremely careful. Krishna gives us so much power. In a way, if you see that we, in this material world, in Bangalore you take, how much power Krishna has given to us? More than 100 times. 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 1 more than the asuras. In many ways. Krishna is sending us money, influence, contacts, all these things. What today this temple wields, a lot of power in the society. Is it not? And it is happening through the hands of the devotees. Why? Because there is Krishna's mission. Karmis, they have their mission. And through the parampara, the acharyas, they have their mission. And the mission needs all power, money, organization, everything is required. And we are getting it. And we have got greater responsibility. We have got greater responsibility to spend money than to generate money. The burden to spend, if you spend properly, very miraculously, money will come. Krishna has given you some power, very carefully you spend it, then more power Krishna will hand over to you. We have to be sensitive, we have to be careful. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, जगत गुरु शिल प्रभुपाद की जय.